Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. It is I, JaianMusic, and I am here with my demon-slaying brother. I carry him in this box behind my back every day as I train in this anime. Hotshot, Nezuko, how's it going? Hotshot, wake up! I'm rumbling the box. Hotshot. We have demons to podcast about.
It is 2 p.m. I'm awake at night. Look, if you set me up for something, I'm just going to go for it.
Hotshot's become a very nocturnal creature since doing the podcast.
I am one. I always have. I'm a gamer. It's in my blood. But hi, guys. We're finally doing a frankly much overdue topic because I had to catch up on Demon Slayer, and that includes the movie because, well, things have happened and I was able to watch it.
Very happy it's the case, honestly. Like, it was very overdue. I agree. I am going to let's just jump into this, dude.
Okay. Okay, so...
First impressions.
First impressions, mind if I go first then?
For sure.
Okay. When I first saw the previews of Demon Slayer, I was beyond curious because, like, the animation of it looked beautiful, especially with the water and the way that it was, like, calligraphied. Like old school, like scroll calligraphy art style kind of thing. I was beyond curious about that, but it was just, for me, it was just the pure overexposure that killed it before I could even like get to it. And then once everything had calmed down, like, don't get me wrong, Demon Slayer is still insanely popular right now. And, it just got to the point where I was just like, I was winding down. I was looking for a show to watch, and I know that, Jaden, you've been wanting to do this topic for a while, and I first watched it. I blazed through half the half the entire show that's out right now in a night. And then I watched the rest of it the next morning.
It's absolutely. Demon Slayer caught my attention when they won a Crunchyroll award. And I knew I had to watch it. It was recommended to me. And it's one of those animes that once you plop the first episode, you're hooked. And you want to know what happens next to Tanjiro and Nezuko and everything.
This was also one of the ones that, by the time it got to me watching it, the game for it was actually available for pre-order. And it was actually one of the very few instances where I did get the game when I was still watching the show, but I didn't go any further in the game than I was in the show at the time. I finished the show before I finished the game.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Let's go right into like the beginning of this. Obviously this podcast is just going to be our opinions and our thoughts on it. We're going to go from point to point. We don't really have a timeline for this in terms of going over the entire anime. We're just going to like be highlighting what we enjoyed. I do think we do have to talk about the very beginning where it starts out, in this very snowy land, and it looks like it's going to be a happy anime from the get-go.
That's the thing that should tell you it's going to be a depressing as hell anime, though. Like, so me and Kyo first started watching it together, we saw Tanjiro coming up the hill with the coal and the payment and everything, like, to his happy family, all his siblings, his mom, Nezuko, everyone. We both simultaneously looked at each other and like, they're all gonna die. And yeah, granted, we knew a little bit about Demon Slayer because it'd been out for a while at that point. But at the same time, like, we just know that setup so well to where if you start showing off a happy family and then the main character, like, actually happy with his life and content with life and everything, we're just like, this is going to get so fucked so quickly.
No, I understand. And the thing is, Tanjiro is such a good-natured character. Like, I see some Deku in him. I see some Naruto in him. You could definitely tell that he's a byproduct of the shonen heroes.
I will say he is way more mature. Like, he's probably the most mature shonen hero we've had in a long time. Like, he knows the right from wrong. He knows, like, he's not really naive. Like, he has these dreams, but he also does what needs to be done. Like, he wants to save some demons, but if it comes down to it, he will decapitate them and he will take them out. And he's doing all this for his sister, which that's the only time he really is immature, is when it comes to Nezuko. But at the same time, this is his sister that got turned into a demon that he's been traveling with and grew up with, and the only remaining part of his family. So I think he deserves to be a little immature around her.
I think that the word to best describe him throughout the anime and the movie and season 2, relentless.
Yeah.
He does not give up, and not in a Rock Lee kind of way, but really in a fire that cannot be put out, and that will continue to burn through every single demon that crosses his path, because he's out on a vengeance. Obviously, his entire family being murdered and only having his sister by his side really stripped him down to his core, and it allowed us to see him in a very vulnerable state from the beginning, which made him very relatable, and he carries that well with his compassion. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about his character growth throughout the different arcs, whether it be the forest, the train, everything?
I love how from the start it's not like Tanjiro isn't the kind of character that just like, my sister's a demon, I will kill every other demon to make this right, or anything like that. He's just looking for a cure for her and everything, like taking care of the demons as it's needed, like not necessarily looking for a fight, just doing it because it's his mission as a demon slayer. And honestly, he grows like from just like thinking about Nezuko to thinking about the whole world as a whole, like with demons in it, with demon slayers in it. He even meets a nice demon along the way, the nurse. Tamayo, like, okay, so up until this point, we've been led to believe that Nezuko is a very special case demon where she doesn't attack humans, and that has to do with her being kind of being hypnotized like the first 3 years that she was asleep and everything else. But then we find out that there's more demons later down the road that don't really attack humans. Like they still need human blood to survive, but they take the smallest amount. And like they're there to cure other demons or to potentially turn demons back into humans. And Tamayo especially is a doctor, so she'll take care of injured patients and everything else, and only turning humans into demons if there's like no other way out. The fact that there are nice demons, like actual, like aware of their consequences and conscious and still know right from wrong despite the fact of being a demon, like it opens a whole world of what is actually possible out there. Like, even if Tanjiro couldn't cure Nezuko, could she still live life freely as a demon later on down the road?
Right, absolutely. The thing, though, that I want to say about this character is that what her and Nezuko reminded me of was Tokyo Ghoul. Because in Tokyo Ghoul, you have ghouls that hide within society and everyone thinks they're humans, you know what I mean? And I guess her more than Nezuko, like, we all thought she was a human, you know? And it turns out she isn't. And it was very reminiscent of that, where we have two different races that coexist and battle each other, and you can hide within that. And she does blur the lines a little bit, so I did appreciate that in her character. But other than that, like, Tamayo to me was, how can I say this, like, very intelligent, you know, and you can see that she researches a lot on demons, and she provides like some sort of, I don't want to, how do I say this, like, intellect, you know? She's more of a thinker to me, you know,
right? And
she's more of a support character in that sense. She's obviously not the frontline fighter, but at the end of the day, she's cool. She provides a good twist in the anime, but she wasn't definitely a standout character to me.
Okay. I mean, I see that. I mean, plus she was only like in one episode anyway, and she was really there to explain like what Muzan was actually out doing, and like seeing his trickery and everything else, and basically a counteract to him where he's right, creating demons for chaos and destruction. She's trying to fight against that and turn humans back, or demons and humans back, and stuff like that. Like she's like fighting a virus.
Essentially, yeah. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the big bad guy here. The
Muzan?
Yeah, the Muzan, man. I don't know about you, but that first interaction between him and Tanjiro really excited me for the rivalry that will be developed. Because throughout the anime, it's really very much Muzan just sending out his goons after Tanjiro, you know? But still, like, I'm excited to see the conflict between those two whenever it comes. Super cold-hearted guy. Would not hesitate to scratch the back of the neck of one guy to turn him into a demon. And once again, he's another one of those demons that blends into society. You wouldn't know that he's a demon if you were just a regular citizen, which is very Tokyo Ghoul-like, like I said earlier.
I mean, yeah.
What were your thoughts on Muzan?
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of his entire thing. That his entire thing is that he's been hidden for over 100 years, or if not longer, because he has blended into human society and lives like a human life when he has to, like to stay hidden and no one can track him. Like when we first see him, his first appearance when we see him in the city, when Tanjiro recognized him by scent, he has technically, like, okay, not technically, but I don't really know the right word here. He has a daughter and a wife that call him a totally different name. So like he goes by aliases, he sneaks around, and he does still do demon shit, because later on in that same episode, we see him slaughter a group of alley thugs, and like he thrives on the fear. And then he has another home in the demon realm where he takes care of like 6 of his highest ranking officers. And it's just like, okay, well, you could either like be completely cloak and dagger, or you could just be an agent of absolute chaos. Like, absolutely. He is beyond intimidating. He is beyond powerful. He is suave as fuck, which I'm all about. I do really like him as a villain. I can't wait to see more of what he himself actually does.
I was confused though, because it seems like he inflicts some sort of curse on his, I guess the best way to say his disciples. Like the character, her name, she was the one with she was throwing around the balls. I think her name was Susam. Yeah, the Tamari. Yeah, the Tamari balls. Susamaru. At the end, she was asked, who sent you? And I think like by saying her name, it triggered something where she just died because of him. Am I getting that right? Because that really screwed me over. It screwed me up. I was like, what?
So they have all of his disciples have Muzan's blood. But if they say his name, basically it's like saying Voldemort's name without saying Lord first. Like, you have to show him the proper respect. If you just call him Muzan, like you would, like I would call you Jaden instead of calling, like, my teacher Mr. Boss or something like that. If you don't show him the proper respect at all times, he will destroy you.
Yeah, that really, 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 I was like, okay, this guy's... This proves the ruthlessness of him.
I mean, taking care of the people who are under your watch in general. Yeah, it's beyond brutal. And when it first started happening to her, I'm like, wait, what's going? Then I saw that arm shoot out of her mouth. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh. Okay, but I do want to.
Okay, I will say one thing to that regard though, real quick. Watching the entirety of Demon Slayer and like how bloody and everything else it is, really strikes me just because when I was working at the theater, when Mugen Train was coming out, right, and people just kept bringing like dropping off their 12-year-olds or something to watch Mugen Train because it was a cartoon movie, and I'm like, guys, it's rated R. It comes from a TV-14 show. Like it is a rated R movie. There is blood, there is violence, there is gore. Like I can't let you in. Just the sheer amount of violence, even in like the smallest part of the show, or like one act that one character does, it's just insanely brutal.
Absolutely.
Just get with the rating system here, people.
with talking about how brutal it is, I did want to like conclude on Tanjiro by talking a bit about his abilities. Like obviously the beautiful animation with the water swords, and I know he develops into to be able to do fire attacks as well. Yeah, what were your thoughts on him as a swordsman, as a fighter?
I mean, we saw like his start, like, where he was just handling an axe, and even then he wasn't handling it very well. And now here he is, pretty much a master swordsman, taking care of forms and using his breathing techniques and everything with ease. Like it is an actual journey to see him travel that far and go that hard. Like when he starts, he's barely swinging around a sword at all, but now here he is like doing all 12 forms of water breathing, and it's just it's incredible to see his techniques. And then out of nowhere, when he gets his Kagura dance moves, and then he just amplifies everything else that he already knows into it, and it just shows that he's adaptable, that he's willing to learn more, and so on and so forth. Like, I think I'm rambling, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I think the most hype moments is whenever Tanjiro goes water breathing, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. What form are we doing doing this time, Tanjiro? How are we gonna chop off his head? You know?
Oh, actually, speaking of that, there was one very specific instance of him going water breathing I want to bring up. It's
sure.
It's after Inosuke tosses him when they're in the spider forest, and at first Tanjiro is dashing towards mother with nothing but murderous intent, and like goes water breathing and starts going into a powerful move. But in that split second of him dashing towards her, she raises her arms, like basically welcoming the embrace of death, and he switches forms midway through to be more of a gentle slash to like basically put her out of her suffering instead of murdering her.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
just that split
fantastic.
second instance and just that split second switch.
Yeah, no, I remember that exact moment, and I honestly think even though it's a death, the way to describe that scene is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean the
Like,
move he
it just-
uses is rain after the calming storm, I think.
Yeah, I mean, which describes really well.
Oh
the
no,
intent there, you know?
rainfall after the drought. That's what it was.
Rainfall after the drought. I mean, regardless of the name, the intent there we know is that we just want you to slowly.
He's basically putting a
slowly fall
pillow.
asleep.
He's basically putting a pillow under her head as she passed away of old age, instead of sneaking into the room and stabbing her with a dagger.
Yeah.
Like he's there to help, and he does that with a lot of his foes too. Like whenever he takes care of all of the demons, he always looks back and like shows the respect and like not like they're monsters when they deserve to be monsters, they are. But after hearing the backstory and everything else that all of these demons have gone through, he shows nothing but remorse and respect to him.
Yes, definitely. I was going to say, let's maybe talk about the trio. I think the trio, as it forms throughout the anime.
I want to start off with Inosuke, though. Inosuke, no joke, is actually Kyo's favorite character. He told me straight up. But he is so freaking insane and wild, like a wild animal, like a wild boar. And it's amazing to watch. And one of my favorite scenes with him is... this isn't until after they get to the Butterfly Mansion, but it's when Tanjiro and Inosuke get their new swords, and Inosuke is holding his brand new swords, just like freshly made, and then just calmly takes them out to a pond looking for a rock, and then just starts bashing the shit out of them with rocks. When I first saw that, my jaw dropped and my hand covered my mouth. I'm like, oh no! But it was amazing to watch because I was laughing the entire time.
I mean, if there was one scene
that's
to
the thing. You just
Inosuke,
with
that's
Inosuke,
it.
you honestly, it really is. And one word to describe Inosuke would probably be unpredictable. Like you don't know if he's gonna be your friend one minute and then be stomping on your back the next.
Absolutely. I the other thing too, like I really enjoy, like we have characters like Bakugo that we discussed in the last episode where we're just like, I don't like their attitude.
Yeah.
They're too short-tempered. But Inosuke's short-temperedness to me and his pride are way more enjoyable. Just because like there's something to I don't know why, but the way it's presented and the way he just jumps into action and the unpredictability of it all just makes it super, super enjoyable, and he's extremely provocative as well, He's just like gonna go chase danger. He's gonna find a way to just get in there and tear it up, and I love that. I love that from Inosuke.
That's the thing. Like some characters with that same trope you will love, and some you will hate. Like I really can't stand Bakugo, but I love Inosuke, even though at their core they're the same kind of impulsive and rash and angry characters. But yet somehow I love Inosuke and I still hate Bakugo. It like I really don't know how to describe it. It just depends on like I guess the rest of the feel of the anime, like what kind of world it sets you in. Plus Inosuke is way funnier. Bakugo isn't really all that funny.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like very humorous character, and the wind breathing does not hurt. I love any type of wind
beast
attack.
breathing.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure he's wind, and then we have water. With Tanjiro, and then Zenitsu is lightning.
Well, that's the thing. He could just be beast breathing. Like we have other characters that use animal breathing, like Shinobu has insect breathing, for instance. So he could just have beast breathing.
I believe I do believe it's wind based, like from what I researched earlier.
Yeah,
and
looking
derived from wind breathing. So.
Looking at the slashes of his swords, I completely believe it. Plus, something that Rengoku says in the movie is that there's 4 basic forms of breathing techniques, and then everything else branches off that. Like Mitori's expertise is love breathing, and that defines from fire, like passion. So it
right.
Everything comes from those four, but that means like literally almost anything could be a breathing technique.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the other one, the wimp that doesn't always wimp out. I don't know how else to describe Zenitsu.
When he's awake, I hate him. When he's asleep, he is my favorite character.
Oh, really?
I love his fighting style when he's asleep. Like, when he's actually competent and knocked out and actually fighting, I love lightning and fire style attacks, and he uses lightning to a T, and I love it. The problem is, he has to be knocked the fuck out in order to do it. The good thing is, he is a coward, so he faints easily, so we see it a lot. But
it's a cool mechanic for a character.
Just the fact it is, but at the same time, no, I don't have. But at the same time, it really is just a cool mechanic. Just the thing that when we first see Zenitsu back at the final selection, he's just, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. That leads me to believe, how in the fuck did you survive final selection? And then when we see him again later on, he's begging the first woman he sees to marry him, and it's just like, he's already not painted in a good light, and then we see him pass out. I want to say the first time we see him pass out is when they're fighting the drum demon, and then he's just completely serious, like nothing is in the way between him and his target, and then just lightning style clash, or I can't remember the name of it, but I fucking love that move, and I fucking love lightning dashes like that, and I'm like, yes, and then he wakes up, I'm like, no, go back to Tanjiro if you're gonna stay conscious.
The thing, though, I really feel like the best way to describe it is that his nerves hold him back. The second the nerves float away, he becomes a big badass. He reminds me of, and this is a bit of a deep cut, but Rock Lee's son is similar. Rock Lee's son has like stress issues and stuff like that, and like gets very nervous in battles, and like recently in Boruto failed the Chunin exam again because of it. Whenever I watch Demon Slayer, that's the first thing that popped into my mind. It's a really cool mechanic though. I like, it's like Metal League, but like with a twist, you know? Where right when you fall asleep, and I don't want to repeat myself too much, the real fight begins. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he remembers when he wakes up, right?
He's just kind of
like, whoa, what happened?
He wakes up.
Exactly.
He wakes up, looks around. Like, he thought the kid that he was protecting was the one who took out the demon. Even at the point when they were all separating, he's like, no, you can't take my savior away from me, like, or anything like that. And I'm just like, oh my god. But in my opinion, the area where he shined the most was in the spider forest when he was taking care of Brother.
Yeah,
because he was fighting off all those other little guys using that one move and everything else, but then it just channeled into something else, and then it was just really cool to watch, and it was terrifying watching his poison spread throughout that entire fight until he got the antidote from Shinobu. But it was just, god damn, I just love his fighting style. He has one move, but I love his fighting style anyway.
The battle against Sun when he awakens, and it's just like, it's literally like the light in the dark. All these like spiders swarming him, and he's just like slashing away, and he's like smoothly just like dashing across the fight and dodging all the venom and all whatever is being spewed at him. I loved it. Like, obviously, the results at the end was that like he was basically entirely poisoned and becoming more and more of a spider. But one of my favorite battles for sure in Demon Slayer.
God, that's a terrifying thing to think about. The poison just turns you into one of those little spiders. Oh. Not a fan.
Yeah.
But
not a fan.
But speaking of spiders, you want to just jump into Rui real quick, like the leader of the spiders. Rui is actually my favorite villain that I've seen fight. He, like, just his entire story arc of like wanting a family and everything, but I love the way he fights. I love his web netting that like slashes and everything, and he from what I've seen, he is just as brutal as Muzan, who he just like slashes his family, like punishes them for like even the tiniest things, like you look slightly different, so now I'm gonna carve your face off, kind of thing. And he is brutal to watch, and he's just like in the body of like this 10-year-old kid. And it is just kind of surreal, and the only thing he wants in life is a family. And then when he sees the bond between Tanjiro and Nezuko, and seeing how Nezuko almost sacrificed herself for her brother, all he wants is her. All he wants is that kind of bond. Like, fuck everything else. I want Nezuko.
No, I see what you mean. I hated his attacks with the threads and like seeing Nezuko getting caught up in them.
Yeah.
Like all that entanglement.
It was
like,
it was
that's
brutal.
such a spider move.
But,
horrible.
But like tied up with the threads, like cutting you off or cutting you up. Like one of the first things he did was cut. I want to say Nezuko's leg off, and like another early thing he did was cut a whole bunch of rookie demon slayers into chunks with like one move. I was just like,
yeah.
Oh my god, you're brutal. But
Yeah,
that's the kind of fighting style that I freaking love. Like Mother was a puppeteer using threads like puppet strings. Father was like a brick powerhouse of just like smashing trees while he was trying to get Inosuke. Daughter, we never saw a fight. She was just there with Rui. And son used his poison spit and his hundreds of little children. Like all of them had unique fighting styles, but they all represented spiders. And I freaking loved it and how that connected.
Absolutely. And honestly, like Rui as a character, I did find him to be like very calm, but at the same time he had this like really like brewing anger in the back of him. You know what I mean? Like even with the way he smiled, the way he spoke, he could see that there was like a very like just deep down inside of him he's not well, you know, and he's annoyed and he's like not enjoying life really, and that like obviously comes to light towards throughout the fight.
Which I know he died in. Like I know he died in the end, but at the same time, I'm like, did he really deserve that happy ending? Being reunited with his mom and father, which he killed, and then did all this other stuff when he was a demon. It was just like, really, this guy gets the happy ending? Why?
Absolutely.
Like I don't want him to be justified. I want him to be punished. Hell, his sister was brutally poisoned and then just left there. Because if you remember, Shinobu can't decapitate demons, so she used a special poison to kill him, and that's how his sister died. Everyone else got decapitated.
You know, it was a slow death for this one.
It was a slow death. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I know you mean. Maybe going back to what we were talking about. Rui and how he was like jealous, or I don't even know how he saw Tanjiro and Nezuko's relationship. I maybe want to highlight the beautiful bond that these two have. It's teamwork to the max. I think if we did another duels podcast, they would definitely
easily.
This would definitely be on a list. What were your thoughts on the bond between these two?
So when I first saw him, like obviously it's just like big brother protecting little sister kind of thing, and it was that way until Nezuko started fighting other demons. But one thing, and I cannot stress this enough, one thing that I freaking loved about this show is the fact when Nezuko did wake up and start fighting, Tanjiro immediately went, she's not a little girl anymore, she doesn't need me to protect her, she can take care of herself. We're not spending this entire show of just like, I need to protect this box, I need to protect Nezuko, like I can't let anything bad happen to her. No, she is a powerhouse when she fights back. And
absolutely,
it's something that I freaking love, because it actually shows that they can be partners. It's not just a hero protecting a maiden or something like that. It is a brother and sister fighting together for what is right and trying to cure an ailment. And even at the point, and oh god, this scene. Sorry, this one just flashed in my head. When I said not letting anything bad happening to Nezuko, when they get to the Hashira mansion and the box is thrown into the mansion, and one of the Hashiras just brutally starts stabbing it just to prove that Nezuko's just like any other demon. Just all of these stabs and slashes and beatings that Nezuko takes in that box from him, and she's still doesn't do anything in response. Like that takes a sheer steel will. Like I know that doesn't really have anything to do with the relationship, but that just to me speaks miles about Nezuko's strength.
No, definitely. But when I see these two collaborate in fights, I always get excited. I always know that's gonna be a good fight. I always know that there's gonna be good action. And throughout the anime, like even like at the very beginning when she turns into a demon and she starts trying to attack Tanjiro, you see him like be like, no, like you're still in there. I can find you. I can help you. We can get through this. You know, don't give up. Don't give up. Your brother's here for you. Like the family bond. His sister literally went from human to demon. Like she changed races. She literally changed races, and he's not giving up on her. It's beautiful to watch. It's a fantastic bond, and I'm so glad to be able to witness it.
I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. Like hell, it even got to the point where like after everything was settled and Tanjiro was starting his training, and at the Butterfly Mansion, Shinobu came to. If you remember, Shinobu came to Tanjiro and told him about her own sister who had a dream of being befriending the demons, and like actually saw a bit of her sister in Tanjiro for trying to cure her sister and seeing the good. And just like small relationships like that you don't expect but then get revealed are amazing to me. Like because it speaks miles about the characters. Like we aren't just barbarians, or we aren't just like seeing them as lambs to the slaughter and killing them. We're doing this because this is the only option right now. We're open to others,
absolutely,
but this is what we have.
I loved seeing those two in action.
Shinobu is like I know how he keeps saying like my favorite character. No, I think Shinobu is actually just my favorite character because she is calm and collected. She is she's calm and collected. She fights in a unique style. She's open to other ways of thinking, but she can be a bit stubborn. Like when she was first dashing to kill Nezuko, and then went through every hook and cranny to try and go after her, or when Tomioka deflected her attack when she was going to kill Nezuko, and she's just like, did you really just protect a demon? Like, and that's the thing, like she can either be completely 100% genuine and sweet with her smile, or beyond creepy and intimidating with that smile, and it never changes, and I love it.
Yes, she's one of a kind for sure. But I think like I do want to talk about a little bit about Tomioka when we mentioned him versus Nezuko at the very beginning. I love that scene. Nezuko and Tanjiro, I guess would be a better way to say it. When Tanjiro's like going to attack him, knowing he has no chances, and he throws the axe up in the air. Bro, that was such a great strategic move. And I'm really happy he spared them, you know? But you can see them that he's like very just unbothered by life. He's just like has a face and he's serious and, you know, very stoic character.
Because that's the thing, because Tomioka is there to do a job. And like that's what he's there.
That's
like,
Tomioka.
That is a demon.
That
is a demon. I'm there to kill it. And that's it. That's all that exists in his world.
Keeps it simple.
But I mean, something that does slightly bother me just because of... Okay, really the only reason this bothers me is because it's very apparent in the game, rather. There are a lot of people using water breathing. Like, there is a lot of users in water training. Like, Tomioka, Tanjiro's teacher, apparently... You won't even remember this guy's name, probably. But it was one of the guys they found in the spider forest. The... like mob looking guy, Murata. But yeah, in the game he used the water style too. And I'm just like, I love the look of the calligraphy, water and everything else, but I'm like, can I get any other element, please? Like someone use ice. Let's get ice in this.
Where's Haku at?
Right? but speaking of elements, I fucking adore Rengoku's flames. I love how
oh my god, Rengoku in general.
They are amazing.
In the movie. Oh, dude. He's like, the thing with Rengoku, though, is like, he always has a smile. He's like, I'm going to kill you, with a big smile on his face. You're like, you're about to be taken out. And he's insane. And
he's Rock Lee.
There's like a little season.
He is legitimately Rock Lee. He just will not smile, and he has that level energy times 5.
all the time. But the thing is, I'm currently watching there's like a season recapping, a little six episode thing recapping the Musen Train movie, and I totally forgot what his character was like, and the first few episodes really focus on him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, that's Rengoku. Yeah, okay, yeah. There's no other way to describe this character.
Tasty.
That's it. That's all there was to it.
When you first see him, you're like, you hear that one word, tasty. Oh, yep, that's Rengoku. When I saw the movie, because after I saw the show, I actually did just jump into the movie. Rengoku's fight and his, like, you can see why he's a Hashira. Like, not only based on his power, but like his strategic mind and how he fights and how he handles situations. And when he and the others were dead asleep and when these minions were coming in to kill him, he was the only one who fought back in his sleep to like basically hold this guy back from getting stabbed or killed. And he didn't even know he was doing it. It was just purely on instinct.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to talk about his fight with Akaza.
Yeah, go for it.
The other demon. That fight was like the most equal thing, I ever saw. And, big spoiler alert here, okay? Big spoiler alert. Please skip ahead at least a good 3 minutes if you do not want to be spoiled about the movie. In 3, 2, and 1. So his passing and his loss after that really broke my heart. It was just not fair. It was like the one character I did not want to lose, and losing him hurt.
Especially,
I actually felt
especially this early on, like especially after meeting the other Hashiras, like not even seeing what they can do in a fight, and the first time we see this guy actually fight, we lose him.
But he can fight, dude. He can fight.
He could.
Like
he could
no
fight,
other.
dude.
Oh, bro. Come on. Did you just really do that?
I did.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh.
That's the thing. I loved his fighting style. I loved his drive and everything. I loved his techniques. It really, really did suck to lose him, but at the same time, I see why, because this shows how powerful the direct descendants of Muzan are, like the higher six. This shows how much of a threat they are. Rengoku was like the most powerful, like the biggest powerhouse we had, and yet he still wasn't enough to even take down one.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. It's ridiculous.
Actually, so there's sorry. There's just one general note I want to say about the movie real quick, just because
Please.
You brought up. So yeah, guys, if you brought back now, keep going ahead. Keep skipping ahead. Sorry. But so I brought up a point earlier where Tanjiro, Rengoku, and the others were all put to sleep to be assassinated. The way Tanjiro figured out how to wake up from his dream. Oh, good God.
Oh, yeah. Killing himself in the dream was insane.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I thought it was just going to be the one-time thing. But then after he woke up and when he started fighting the train and he kept getting put to sleep, he kept doing it over and over and over again. Like, it didn't show it every time, but the implication was there. So, like, in the back of your head, you're just seeing that next slice over and over. And it got to the point to where Tanjiro didn't even know if he was awake or not, and he almost did it while he was awake. And it was just like, like that pure moment of tension. I was just like, oh my God. Like, thank God Inosuke was there. Like, Jesus.
It was insane. It genuinely was insane, and I loved every moment of it. It did not stop giving. And I loved like how he almost did in real life, and then Inosuke's like, whoa, watch out, don't kill yourself in real life, because it kept like happening and happening. It was so sequential. Another fantastic fight from the movie. The movie is so good. So good.
I do love how they weren't able to put Inosuke to sleep because they were looking at the boar's head eyes, and Inosuke wasn't looking anywhere around there.
That's classic Inosuke.
I love how he's just like, this is a shield. I'm immune to you. It was kind of amazing.
And in the dream, they're all screwed up by him. He's like, not the one they thought he was. He's like, what's wrong with this guy?
Inosuke's dream. Oh my God. It was amazing.
Oh, I know.
Like, Tanjiro's dream tugged at my heart. Rengoku's dream kind of tugged at my heart. Zenitsu's dream, we don't need to talk about. Inosuke's dream was my favorite.
Inosuke's dream was very Inosuke-like.
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. No, it was good. It was good. You do have a point that you wrote down in the Google Docs that I do want to bring up that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, go for it.
Your favorite demon powers.
Oh, Lord.
All
right, you go ahead.
I can't pick.
No?
I literally can't pick. There's so many good ones.
There's so many cool ones. We had like the drum guy who was controlling essentially a labyrinth inside a mansion where he was rotating it like a puzzle with you inside. We had Rui that we went over using web powers and his entire spider family. We had the guys from Mugen Train where we had Enmu as the actual train putting people to sleep and killing in dreams. Like, there are a lot of really cool demon powers here. But honestly, my favorite, just, I might be a little biased here, but my favorite is Rui and the spider family. I'm just a really big fan of like spider threads being used in that way.
No, it was very, very cool. You know what? I'm going to keep mine simple. I just really enjoyed Yaiba, the arrows.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The way just like spinning the enemy around and like confusing them. Obviously, there's a learning curve, and once you learn it, you're basically like able to like figure it out, and like you have nothing to worry about. But regardless, fantastic way to manipulate the battle. I thought that was a really creative attack, and one that I can't remember another anime that really had that type of anime character that had that kind of power. Personally,
I honestly can't either. The thing is, like, when you can't see the arrows, he's even more of a threat. But the only reason Tanjiro was because he had Yoshiro's like patch, like his eye thing. So that's the only reason we were able to see the arrows.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Can you imagine fighting Yobaba without that thing? Like, without seeing the arrows?
You're screwed.
And all of a sudden you just get pushed back?
You're screwed. There's no other way to put it.
I'd still like to see it just because I think it'd be funny.
So yeah, that's another point we brought up. Honestly, like, is there other like big stuff you want to talk about? Let's knock out big stuff because
yeah.
we basically talked about everything.
Really, there's only like one thing I want to talk about. We've touched on it here and there, but I feel like it'd be a good one to wrap up on if you're okay with it.
Please.
What are your overall views on the animation? Because this is one of the and I'm not this guy. I am not the guy to say this, but this is one of the most beautiful animes or just shows I've seen in a long time.
Hey, listen, this is a GoProKyo question. Like, I literally like would love to have him right here and to answer this. I loved the animation. The animation was gorgeous. My favorite part of the animation, personally, was the water breathing techniques.
If
those were just
the water breathing techniques, the fire breathing technique, basically the breathing techniques you put into life were all freaking incredible to watch, and the blood demon arts, the abilities, I loved it.
Right, but personally for me, like, really the water ones specifically, like those ones were the prettiest ones for me. What I love the most about them is they literally changed like the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, the ambience, everything around you is just like, whoa, what is... Like, it's sort of peaceful, but it's still very fierce and aggressive. There was something about it that, just in general, I really loved. The characters are super well drawn. No, you can't go wrong. You literally cannot go wrong with how beautiful these places are. Even, like, the locations. Like, the mountains are beautifully drawn. The towns are well put together. Like, you can literally feel, I don't know, like with the sound effects. I know I'm switching to audio here, but in combination with the sound effects, you can really feel like you were in the location. So it was just a really well put together show, regardless of audio or no, just everything together. It was beautiful. Let's wrap things up. I think we can give our final thoughts. This anime was fantastic, and I'm so excited for its continuation. It's definitely one of those that falls in the realm of My Hero, Attack on Titan, One Punch Man, that I will always watch the next season. This one is definitely in that category, so a big love for this anime. What about you, Hotshot?
I'm really the same way. Like, since I actually caught up on not just this, but My Hero Academia and everything else, I realized how much I actually do love these shows, and Demon Slayer is no exception. I love the time period. I love the animation. I love the characters. God, please help Zenitsu. And I'm really, really curious to see what the other Hashira actually fight like. So I'm gonna be there when it's there.
Yes, he does all of the artwork for anime podcasters. So if you need any artwork for your project, please go give @GoProKyo a follow on Twitter. All of his links will be in the description. You can follow the podcast at Anime Podcasters on Facebook. You can leave us a voicemail on speakpipe.com/anime podcasters. You can also, if you want to be a guest, there's a proposal link for topics. There's a survey for you to take if you want to give us reviews. And you can also obviously follow us in your favorite podcatcher. Video versions of the podcast are available on YouTube and Facebook. Hotshot, where can people find you?
You guys can find me right here on JaianMusic's channel and on Anime Podcasters, wherever podcasts are sold and heard. You guys can find me over on my channel, Hotshot Ginger, where every now and again I decide to do a dirtier side of anime with GoProKyo with PontuCast. You guys can find me on Twitter at my name, Hotshot Ginger, and I know I haven't been there for a while. I'm still trying to get some things figured out, but when I am back, I do have a channel over on Twitch at Hotshot Ginger, where I am going to be streaming gameplays. Some of them may actually be anime based, some of them may just be my personal taste, and where I just come over to hang out with you guys for a bit.
Amazing. All right. And for myself, I am at JaianMusic on social media. You can follow me on JaianMusic.com to find all of my links. And you can also subscribe to my channel on YouTube.com/JaianMusic. Make sure to go stream the new Chip Machine music that's going to be coming out very soon. Spectrogram Ghost, the album, experimental electroacoustic music that I loved and made with my heart. And yeah, so that's going to be it for now. So for myself, Hotshot, this has been another episode of
Water Breathing Level 2 Anime Podcasters Exit Out. Later. Bye. Anime Podcasters.
Yeah, it's such a good start, but it like miserably failed at the end.
That's my sense of comedy in a nutshell.
Bye.
Bye.